Hello, and on today's show, it's Halloween. Almost.
Rock and roll ain't noise pollution.
Thor's hammer is really heavy.
And Venus is pissed Mars is getting all the attention again.
This is episode 6 of the Geek 30 Happy Hour. To another episode of the Geek 30 Happy Hour. My name is Alex, and I'm joined again by my good friend Jojo Maldonado.
How are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm very good, actually.
Awesome. And joining us is my very good friend Jamal Smith. Jamal and I go back to working at a specific employer that we don't say the name.
Yeah, not to be named. That's right.
Not to be named.
Yeah.
And
he should not be named.
and Jamal and I have always stayed in touch. It was a pleasure working with him. We used to talk about nerdy stuff like video games and stuff back at work, and have stayed in touch ever since. So Jamal, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. Really happy to be here.
Happy for you to join us. So tell the world about you.
Yeah, so I'm a native Washingtonian, born in D.C., raised right outside of D.C. and PG County, moved down to Woodbridge, Virginia about 6 years ago. Father of two. That's my other full-time job is being a dad, and it's a lot of fun. Big video game guy, sports person, aspiring comedy writer, hoping to be discovered one day, all that good stuff.
And he is funny as shit. So we are happy to have you on the show and be part of that, and love hearing the stories about your kids, and some of that is, he talks about that on his podcast, and we'll get into that later in the show. You guys won't want to miss that. It's a wonderful project, and we're happy to have him on the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's get into what we're drinking today.
Oh, hello, Geek 30. It's beer time.
So, guys, in honor of fall and Halloween, this is my favorite time of year, and again, just me being selfish like I usually am on this show.
Never.
No. I wanted us to celebrate by drinking a flight of different beers. And we had some great feedback. We posted stuff on social media, asked for feedback from friends. They suggested some great beers and different beverages to drink. And we picked 3 of them. And so wanted to go through the list here. Let's see what we got. So the very first thing that we're going to be drinking today is called the Greater Pumpkin. This is by Heavy Seas. That's the brewery. And so this is something that we pulled directly from their website. It says, in the most worthy of pumpkin patches and during the silence of the midnight hour, the Greater Pumpkin raises up and pours a rich, deep, and burnished orange color. Heady aromas of bourbon, cinnamon, ginger, allspice, and clove linger seductively over the thick white head of this tremendous brew. It's love at first sip as the full malt body, dominated by British crystal malt, brown sugar, and pumpkin, slowly washes over your tongue. Bourbon barrel aging rounds out the flavors with notes of oak, vanilla, and bourbon. Pairs well with crisp autumn weather, crunchy fallen leaves, and the knowledge that your kids will be asleep soon so you can raid their Halloween candy bags.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so that was a little lengthy, but I think it kind of gives the idea of what this beer is about. So, with that, gents, cheers.
Cheers.
Let's give it a sip. Yeah, I see. That's cool. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what you expect from a pumpkin beer. I know pumpkin beers seem to be kind of like a niche thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like not everybody loves them. I personally like them. And actually, shout out to my buddy Chris. Not Chris from the show. This is a different Chris who I used to work with. Pointed this one out mostly because we share a love of bourbon and whiskey and scotch and things, and he knew I would love it, and I mentioned that we were going to be doing this on the show, and he said, "Oh, you got to do it." So, Chris, thank you. What do you guys think about the beer?
It's a little more bitier than I expected, and I actually really like the way it finishes. It's a very smooth finish on the top of that. Love the color of it. Love the aroma from it. It smells great. It has a hint of pumpkin. I don't know. It's almost like a Matson.
Yeah, I could see that. I just took another sip because I wanted to give it another whirl.
It's a pretty nice taste. It's not too heavy. You know what I mean? Which I appreciate. As somebody that's kind of sort of getting more into beer, it's a kind of good segue to a beer. So I like it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's not overtly pumpkin.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of a nice blend, and the bourbon barrel thing, actually, I think, you can taste it. It's strong.
It's got a little bit of a kick on there, yeah.
I mean, it's strong, so it doesn't taste like other pumpkin beers that aren't prepared like that. So that in itself is unique, and it's really cool. So Chris, thanks for that. And guys, let's go over the other two beverages that we're going to be having tonight. So let's see. We've got next is going to be the Sly Fox Oktoberfest Lager. From their website, it says this traditional Oktoberfest beer celebrates the arrival of fall. It is a medium-bodied, smooth, and malty brew made with German Vienna malts and German hops. So we're going to have this one up to drink a little bit later in the show, but wanted to at least get you guys ready to just kind of know what we're drinking. And then the third one that we're going to be drinking, it's actually a cider. And this is one that JoJo wanted to bring personally. So JoJo pulled their description from their website. It says, legendary showman P.T. Barnum once noted everybody drank cider spirits called Gumption. Our Woodchuck Gumption celebrates the spirit of P.T. Barnum and those with the gumption to follow their own path. We pair the fresh juice of common eating apples with dry cider apples to bring you a bold and unique drinking experience. So we'll look forward to trying the Oktoberfest and the cider as we progress through the show, and we're talking about all this stuff. So with that, let's get into the news.
G30 News!
So we're starting today's news segment a little bit informally, and I say that because I just want to sit down with these two dudes and talk about what our favorite Halloween movies are. And like I said, Halloween is my favorite time of year, and I love turning on the TV, watching Travel Channel, and just binge watching Ghost Adventures. I love going to haunted trails. Just last night we went to what was it? Markov's.
Yeah.
Yes.
How'd you like it?
Oh, dude, it's great.
Yeah.
It's so great. And I hadn't been there. It's been a few years since I've been there. Me and Ryan, who was on the show a couple episodes ago, went and with his now wife and a couple friends, and so that was super fun. But it's gotten it's huge now. Like it's
commercial.
Even bigger.
It's super. Yeah, it's big, sprawling. A lot of radio stations there, like huge event sort of thing, which is cool. I mean, it's still done really well, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, I was taking a sip of beer. It was also awesome because the way it's expanded, they've added this new thing called the town. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
So this must be brand new. Basically, they put you on on like a little bus.
Okay.
It's like a tram that's dragged by a tractor. And they take you to a whole other part of the plantation or whatever, like that. They own like acres of land, right? So they take you to this whole other area. They let you out.
Yeah.
And you end up at this corn maze, and then people are scaring the shit out of you as you're going through the corn maze, and you end up in this little town that they built.
Okay.
It's really badass. And people are there kind of scaring you as you're making your way through the town, and you see the coroner and the sheriff, and they've got this brothel with these people that are trying to kill you. It's pretty fun. Highly recommend it, folks. If you guys live in the DC metro area, check it out. Markov's Haunted Forest.
Yeah.
I chickened out. Just so
I invited JoJo, you guys, and he did not.
I was nowhere near that.
Nope.
I was in a different county at that point. I went to a barbecue.
Have you guys seen McCamey Manor? This is McCamey Manor is a big haunted. It's a true interactive haunted house. I think it's like in Utah or something like that. It's way out. It's reservation only. It's about a 3 to 5 hour, journey through the house, and they do essentially everything to you. They hold you up. They put stuff in your mouth. It's something unlike anything I've ever seen before. But yeah, check it out. The trailer's on YouTube. It's about like a 6.5 minute trailer. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's in Utah?
It's like somewhere like in a mountain area.
So say again, what's the name of it?
McCamey Manor.
McCamey Manor.
Yeah.
All right, I got homework.
I'm checking that
Look
out.
at
I'll try to find the
Maybe we
name.
put that in the Geek notes.
Yeah, I'll put that in. I'll try to find a link for that. Put that in the notes. But what are your all's favorite scary movies? Every year I tend to put on, and I'm slacking this year. I got to do it. But I put on a Halloween movie marathon.
Okay.
I start at like 10 in the morning. I go until maybe 10 or 11 at night. People kind of come in and out of the house, and we start out with kind of fun family scary movies, anything from like Monster House or Hocus Pocus or something like that, and end on a note like Paranormal Activity or something just kind of really freaking scary.
Got it.
So you go from like Disney to super scary.
Yeah,
That's cool. It's a good arc. I like that.
Yeah. So what do you guys like to watch? I
like the 2007 version of Trick or Treat. I thought that was really well done. There was a bunch of different plots going on simultaneously, and I love the movie as a whole. I thought it was just really well polished.
Okay. A few come to mind for me. So obviously, not really Halloween themed, but The Exorcist is like the staple for me as far as horror films.
Definitely.
That's the one that kind of freaked me out psychologically. Yeah, just the original first one.
That was on one of our marathons.
Yeah.
When was that? That was that last year? No, maybe it was.
Was it?
No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, because we were living in Alexandria at the time.
Right, that was, that sounds right.
Yep, everybody was kind of cuddled together for that one. It was pretty funny.
The first Ring got me too. I don't know why. I guess I think it was exceptionally done, but that definitely spooked me out a little bit.
You know what? In the Ring, the scene that kills me was when they found that girl in the closet.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? And all of a sudden her face is all effed up, and then she just kind of slumps over.
And that was early in the film too.
Oh yeah.
It set the tone. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That was that was crazy. And like The Grudge, I remember. So like The Grudge, I kind of look back at it and I'm like, really, that really wasn't scary. But when I originally saw that movie, it definitely had an impact on me. What sort of movies do you guys think of now and you're like, that really wasn't so bad?
Any of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I grew up watching those, but they age so badly, if you look back at them now, you're like, I can't believe that spooked me out.
It wasn't a Halloween movie, but Aliens used to scare the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
And
dude, that's considered a horror movie, I would think. I mean, you think that would? I think it could.
But it'd be one of those things where my dad would know I'm watching it and just wait for like the most silent moment to come and scare the crap out of me.
Really?
So there was like that psychological association with whatnot. And you go back and you see all like the bloopers inside the film where they left the leg in there. It was like, oh god,
Exactly.
But as a kid, it was like the worst thing ever.
It is. I'm a sucker for those Paranormal Activity movies though, and the new one coming out just looks like so
you're still
so
into
much
those.
fun. Oh
They
yeah.
stretch the series out way too far.
They definitely have, but I'm still like in it 100%. I'm like,
first one-
as
the
long
first
as they still keep going, I'm in.
The first one got me because that's right after we moved into our new house, me and my wife and the kids.
Oh boy.
And I didn't really know the house that well, but I had to be the man and she's like, well, go downstairs and give me something. She's like, well, let's think about this. Maybe it's not the right time. You're okay.
You walk down the hallway 100 times and at one time it creaks. That never creaked
you
before.
won't be dehydrated overnight. Good morning in the morning. Yeah.
There's a great video. It's kind of going viral now on social media. Of they went to the original the house of the original Paranormal Activity.
It's still set up the same.
It's still set up, the same. Have you seen this, JoJo?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Have you seen this, Jamal?
No, I haven't.
So it's this real estate agent has it up on the market, right? But they've got all these hidden cameras and everything around, and these people walking in have no idea that it's the house from the movie.
Okay.
But I mean, when you're looking at the video, you're like, oh my god, that's the house. It's cool, and it's just sitting there in the middle of a neighborhood because this movie had a budget of like $15,000, it grossed over $1 million, and it's crazy. So they take these people through. And as they walk into the house, they're like, "Oh yeah, the owner's just up and moved. Like they just had to get out of this house, and they're looking for an easy, sell and all that." And then all of a sudden, like they're looking around, they look at the dining room, and all of a sudden there's a bang, and then the chandelier starts shaking a little bit. And
They
these
walk
people are like
into-
looking around, and the real estate agent, is an actress, just keeps walking. She pretends like
she
nothing.
purposely walks away when something's about to happen, so she doesn't experience
nice.
it. They
Nice.
kind of experience it on their own.
Nice.
Yeah.
But they go into the kitchen, and the microwave starts lighting up on them, and they start going up the stairs, and you hear certain creaks happening.
And as they're going up a stair, a picture in the hallway behind them just drops.
Right.
And they peek around the corner. They're like, "Oh my god!" and what tops the freaking cake is at the end of it. They're in the bedroom where all the stuff happens.
Sure.
And they go into the bathroom and they're like, "Oh, this is a nice bathroom." And then all of a sudden, the mirror shatters. And all the doors shut, and they're screaming, and the room is shaking, and
Every single couple bolted. Either hug each other or bolted. Everybody had to get out of there.
God, it made my day when I saw this. I was like, it was a perfect prank, and these people had no idea. I thought this one dude was about to shit himself.
Yeah. I would have been wondering how much price they're going to take off because of all the stuff going on in the house.
Just to be told, it's like, actually, you see that camera right there, and that one over there, and that one. I love this time of year because I get an excuse to watch movies like that. And we just recently watched the more what was it? It was Paranormal Activity. Where are we on now?
It's like
6,
5 or
17?
6. Yeah.
It was the one. It's the one before the one that's coming out now, and it kind of ties into the first one. Have you seen it?
No, I've only seen the first 2. I think I kind of.
Okay. It's pretty good. Like you said, they stretch these things out way too much, but I'm still very much into it. But that new movie's coming out. What was the best scary movie that you've seen lately? What do you guys think?
The Babadook was okay. It was very hyped because I think a lot of horror enthusiasts are kind of afraid. You see a horror trailer now in the theater on TV, and you get to the end, it's rated PG-13. You're like, I don't even want to bother with it.
Yeah.
The Babadook was very well done, and it was good. It didn't really spook me out, but I think it was, if you want a good solid horror film, I think that kind of fits the mold.
Give me the premise of that movie, because I actually haven't even heard of that. You're like the third person to tell me about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
So what I recall is there's I think a mom, I believe she's single. She has a son. He has kind of visions. They have a book. There's all around this book called The Babadook. And the book is terrifying. They flip through it. It's like, stuff popping out. And I think the son is trying to warn the mom about different things going on. She doesn't listen. And it kind of flourishes from there.
Yeah.
So the setting in it is really well done. The costume design is really well done. They kind of take this minimalist approach to putting together the film. So,
And those are the best.
yeah.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
You don't put too much into it, and I might have to put that into my rotation for this year.
Check it out, man. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, right?
It should be. Well, I actually watched it I bought it through iTunes. I don't think
did
it's
you?
on Netflix yet, but you can get it through the iTunes store.
What about you, JoJo?
Nothing scary as of late.
Yeah, you're not a big scary movie guy.
It's not one of the things. I got heart issues. I don't need to exacerbate them at all. But I mean, I grew up with the '80s slashers. Jason and Freddy, Michael Myers, and they were never scary at the time. Again, the scary thing for me was the sci-fi aliens.
Okay.
But I never got into the scary stuff, and I go back and I watch things like Monster Squad, and I laugh. It's hilarious. It was really bad, poorly done, and it was an enjoyable movie in that aspect. But I don't actively watch anything scary.
Yeah, that's fair. JoJo's a big wuss, guys.
I mean, it's true. I'm agreeing with you. I'm not saying otherwise.
It's good. We still love you anyway. And I actually had a link. I was doing a little bit of digging around, just out of curiosity. I went online and you type in top 10 Halloween movies of all time, or top 10 scariest movies of all time, and you get such a variety of lists. I found one that I thought was really interesting that I'm going to put in the show notes. But I would love to hear from you guys. Let us know maybe what your all's favorite scary movie is. If you guys have a suggestion for a scary movie that maybe I should include in my rotation of Halloween movies for my marathon, which I think I'm going to do next weekend, maybe.
That might happen.
I got to figure it out. I got to do it soon.
Obviously.
It's
you
like
can't do it on Halloween.
No.
So.
Geek30podcast @gmail.com. And be sure to spell out the word 30, geek30podcast @gmail.com. And
Alex will definitely check it out, and I will not.
Yes,
So,
no,
sorry,
Jojo, we're gonna put you in front of the couch or in front of the TV on the
Clockwork
couch.
Orange with the eye drops.
I'm gonna pour a little bit more of this Greater Pumpkin.
That sounds like a great idea.
Do you guys want a little bit?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
A little bit on top right there.
So Jojo went and picked this stuff up today, and it came in a huge bottle.
Yeah, I should
We're
point
trying
out that this one, the Greater Pumpkin from Heavy Seas, is in a 22-ounce bottle. The Oktoberfest from Sly Fox is actually in cans. It's in a
Yeah,
six-pack of
actually,
cans.
I saw that, and we're gonna be getting into that. You know what? That's a great segue.
Right.
Let's go ahead and get into that one. Ooh, look at that foam. Oof.
Got a little excited there, didn't you?
A little bit. All right, so we're pouring this into our little flight glass here.
So you just heard a can open. I just want to point out again, it doesn't matter what the vessel is. Don't be afraid of cans. Some of the best beers come in cans. It just depends on the brewery and how they manufacture their beers and how they can actually export it to different, what is it? Not dispatchers. Distributors. Yeah.
Like Genesee Cream Ale.
So good.
No, that's a terrible example because people hate that beer. I love that beer.
Right,
Go listen to
right.
our second episode, people, if you haven't. That was our second episode, right? Yeah,
That was our second. No, that was our...
that was second because...
Second, that's correct. That is correct.
That was the one Jamie was on. So right now we're drinking the Sly Fox Oktoberfest Lager. This is the second one that we mentioned. And a shout out, actually, I think all my friends' names are Chris because another Chris mentioned this one. I appreciate it. This dude is actually on my raid team in World of Warcraft. Shout out to Filthy Casuals.
I need to get back into World of Warcraft just so I can be on your raids.
Oh, dude, we have a blast.
I'm
It's
still
tons
at
of
like
fun.
90, though. I've got a lot of catching up.
Filthy Casuals.
I don't know anything about it. Just let me get this problem.
it was
So I can
funny.
say I've been down with the name. I like the name.
It was fun. We're part of this much bigger guild called AIE. It stands for something else. Alea Iacta Est, which basically means the die has been cast in Latin. And it's the biggest gaming community in World of Warcraft. And World of Warcraft is like the biggest MMO in the world.
Sure.
And this is like the biggest gaming community. And so I've got a raid team on there, and I had been wanting to put together a raid team for a while, and like I'm on their forums and stuff for the guild. And this one dude was like talking a whole lot of shit and about how he doesn't like to play with filthy casuals. And I was like, oh, this guy's a prick, first of all. And second of all, that's what I'm naming my raid team. Because I am one of those. Because I don't spend my entire life on that game.
Just 8 hours a night. That's
Just
all.
8 hours. Just 8 hours.
It's only your second full-time job.
But we're wanting to get into but shout out to Chris, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks for recommending this beer. You know, let's give it a sip. We haven't actually tried it yet. Cheers.
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 Wow, that is super easy to drink.
But it's very full-bodied. I mean, it tastes like it came out of a draft.
Yeah, it did.
And again, this came out of a can.
That's not. Yeah.
So don't be afraid of cans.
That's just. This is a beer that just it reminds me of fall. Like this is one of those Oktoberfest. It's a nice Oktoberfest.
Buying more of this and taking this home with me.
What do you think, Jamal?
It's pretty good. I could see, again, a lot of my friends are kind of new beer drinkers, but this will be something I think will go over well with the group. It's pretty, pretty.
It seems like this
easy.
is something anybody could like.
Yeah, exactly.
Deanna would like this.
Would she though?
I think. Deanna, would you like this?
She's busy with the kids, remember?
Deanna. Yeah, she says yeah.
She says yes.
So the next thing that we wanted to get into was actually Rock Band 4. So this came out. When did this come out? This came out like last week.
Last week on Tuesday or the week before. It came out recently.
Yeah, Jojo bought this.
I bought the whole band set.
Okay.
So I already have the 360 band set. You can get an adapter for Xbox One so you can use the old instruments. Mm-hmm. My instruments have been well used, and so it was time to invest in new instruments.
Fair enough.
I felt that as this was a segue to do that.
So this isn't just like one of those situations like last episode we talked about how you had to buy a Halo motorcycle helmet, even though you don't have a motorcycle, but you needed the Halo.
In my defense, and this is actually not in my defense,
That's a great
this is just
Really enjoyed
this is
it.
just sort of a coincidental situation. The motorcycle was delayed till December 23rd, apparently.
Oh, okay. So you have to wait until December 23rd to get your
Yes,
okay.
which is good on my wallet for this month.
Oh, that's good.
But
yeah.
it's still happening.
Yeah,
It's just going to be 2 months from
okay,
now.
all right.
needless to say, still spend $1,000 between the Rock Band full set for Xbox One, the Halo Collector's Edition, which is $250, the Halo Xbox is coming out, which is $500. Excuse me. Guitar Hero is coming out with their live thing, and there's a 2 guitar set. Of course, I bought that.
Yeah. And then you've got Battlefront coming out.
That's November. I don't count that because
okay.
This is just October.
So JoJo and I played the Battlefront beta. Did you follow Battlefront at all, Jamal?
I followed a lot through you, but I didn't play the beta.
Okay.
A lot of my friends did. I missed out on it.
Bro, it's pretty cool.
Really?
It's actually really cool. The only issue I had was my parents were in town that weekend, so I tried to sneak in a couple of games, but your parents are here. You got to go take them out and whatever. And had a blast. Would have liked to have played a little bit more. Yeah,
had a few folks hit me up on social media to play too. So that was pretty cool. Good syncing up with you guys, and good playing with friends and such. I'm gonna be hooked. I swear.
The videos are hilarious.
Oh, and the videos? Have you seen the videos?
I saw a lot of Polygon. Yeah, I did.
Oh my god! Yeah. The one where Luke Skywalker gets stepped on by the AT-AT as he's like coming at the stormtrooper. You're watching the stormtrooper, and Luke Skywalker comes at him, lightsaber's like drawn, and then all of a sudden gets stepped on
by an AT-AT.
And the person is just sitting there like, holy shit.
But it's funny because he takes his foot off, and you see that obviously Luke is dead, and then the other foot steps in the same place.
Add insult to injury.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
There was one with Darth Vader, and we joked about me saying, "Oh my God, Darth Vader!" Da, da, da. You know, I would fanboy out at that moment, obviously. But in this case scenario, Vader had just spawned, and as soon as he sees the world, he gets hit by an A-wing. That's no sweeter.
Well, but let's also put this in perspective. So the guy who is playing as Vader, it's from his perspective. You guys got to see this video, by the way, if you haven't. Maybe I can find it and put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah, definitely.
This one's really funny.
You had a list of
videos. Actually, that's a great one. I
perfect.
think that was. I got to figure out where I found that.
Right.
But literally, this like A-wing or it was an X-wing or something. The dude was first of all like pulling a JoJo, super like he was like like he was like, oh my god, I'm Vader,
geeking out. It was hilarious.
So he ends up freaking out, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go. Expletive. Yeah. And he's like walking forward, and then all of a sudden from behind you see an X-wing just go and clip his head. And then Vader dies.
He was alive literally all of 2 seconds.
The dude was like, what the F?
I would have rage quit. I would have turned off my Xbox. That would have been over.
He was so mad. And the video is so funny, guys. I'll try to find that and put it in. But if you guys ever want to play, it goes for the people listening. Feel free to hit me up on social media or via the
once it comes out in November, definitely.
Yeah. Email, phone, whatever. Shoot me an email. Send a voicemail. I'd love to play with you guys.
Make sure to have your BB-8 scrolling around while you're playing. So
have maybe Finn chasing the BB-8.
I think that'd be awesome.
But yeah, Jamal, you got to get on that, bro.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Playing on Xbox One.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll get on it.
Yeah.
November's going to be a good month for gaming.
Definitely.
I think it will be.
So, Star Wars and Fallout.
Yep.
Those two alone. Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing a lot about the Pip-Boy, and I've never played Fallout, but there's an actual wrist thing that you can get in the collector's edition.
Yep.
You can put your smartphone in, although not the 6 Plus, because the 6 Plus is too big.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'm being serious. So certain, like the Note from Galaxy or, right.
So for those of you who are wondering, I just got a 6S Plus, and it's awesome. I got the 128 gig like monstrosity.
I have the smaller version of him. I have the 6S and 128 gigs.
So my new phone is not going to fit in this Pip-Boy, which I didn't order, but I still thought I think it'd be cool to get it.
Right. You can order it for me. Might as well work.
Well, I heard for whatever it's worth for me, they're sold out. So fine.
Gosh,
all right,
darn it.
Well, to get my mind off of that, Rock Band 4.
Yes.
So what's the deal here, JoJo? Tell us about what you think about Rock Band 4, and we have a lot of history with Rock Band 4.
We have a lot of histories with Rock Band. We've actually mentioned it a couple times in the show already. If you've never played Rock Band before, the Rock Band 4 band set and everything is perfect for you for the Xbox One. It's a great game to get into, really easy, really smooth, fantastical. If you have played Rock Band before, you have a library, this launch wasn't smooth. It wasn't good, unfortunately. And, I can't really put it all on Harmonix because it is licensing. So what Harmonix is going to do for both PS3 and Xbox 360 is allow you to bring your Rock Band's 1, 2, and 3 libraries as well as Green Day and Lego.
I had the Green Day one.
Right, I had the Green Day one. I didn't have the Lego one. The Beatles one, I think there might have been...
Yeah, the Beatles one. What about
it didn't count for whatever reason. The licensing didn't work over there, so you can't transfer the Beatles one.
Not too surprising.
Well, it's the Beatles.
Well, that's true, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it was the 5. 1, 2, 3, Green Day and Lego.
Okay.
You could transfer them out, but because it's going to different platforms, they weren't really sure how the licensing was going to work, and everything hasn't really gone through yet. So as of right now, you cannot bring your Rock Band 1, 2, or 3 libraries. 3 isn't even exportable yet, even though 1 and 2, 1 and 2 have already been exported. Green Day is exportable, and Lego is exportable, but you had to have already exported them by June. You can't export them now because of the licensing, unfortunately, on there. So it's a lot of kludgy information going on back and forth between that. If you bought anything in the store, some of it is available now, and it might say, a price amount, and when you try to download it, it'll say, yeah, you already bought this, and you just download it. Some of it, if you bought it in a track pack, you have to wait for the actual track pack to be released before you can download it, or otherwise they're going to charge you. Right, so they're still kind of working on it. Their entire system was on an old database, and they're working to bring it over to a new database so they can execute it for everybody. So it's going to be a little bit of time. So anybody who's new to Rock Band, fantastic.
Can I play Fleetwood Mac Go Your Own Way today?
I don't know. I was so mad. I didn't fire it up. I mean, we both have our 360, so yeah, we can play it today. Not on Xbox One. Some of the songs are available now. Some of them are not. It's just going to take time, unfortunately.
So here's my super bummer. And for those listening, if you've listened from the beginning, you know that I have spent an ungodly amount of money.
We compared it to your wedding ring. We spent so much money.
Yeah, no, probably. And see back there, I've got all my Rock Band shit. I got 2 drum sets back there.
I noticed that.
I don't think I exported my Rock Band 3.
No, Rock Band 3 is not exportable yet.
Well, but when it becomes exportable, like, what do I do? Because I sold that. I gave that to GameStop because I have this Xbox 360 here, but it hardly works.
Exactly.
So I sold all my old Xbox.
I don't know if you can
what does that mean?
Because there's a code with every game.
Yeah. But supposedly, I guess you can pay Harmonix for a new code or something, right?
Right.
Like, so that you can eventually export.
I don't know. I still have my disc. So I don't know how it works without the code.
I should have. Dude.
I played it so much. How would you give it to GameStop?
Because I ended up not having an Xbox 360.
Right.
And we weren't really playing it as much anyway, which is heartbreaking to admit. But I was like, well, I'm just gonna get rid of it because I was in a declutter mode. Right, we were moving into this new house, and Deanna's like, Alex, get rid of all those freaking games right now. I'm like, okay, yes, ma'am,
including FIFA 14, but not 15.
No, yeah. So that was a whole thing. Now I'm like, man, I wish I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. I guess what happens when I end up getting Rock Band 4. I have been holding off on buying Rock Band 4 just because of what you said. Because I'm not going to be able to get a ton of songs that I bought. So it's like, what's the point? I don't know. Maybe I'll still buy it.
Most of them should transfer over. Anything you bought in the store should transfer over. It just might not be available now. Some of them are, some of them are not. It's just going to take a little while. I should also point out, if you had a PS3, it'll transfer to PS4. If you have a 360, it'll transfer to Xbox One. They will not cross platforms. It has to stay within the same family.
So, Jamal, what's your experience with Rock Band?
Man, we had me and my buddies had a lot of long nights playing Rock Band songs. It got pretty serious. I mean, keeping wives up to about 1, 2 in the morning, playing nice long drum solos. That's why I spelled Fleetwood Mac, because I shined on the drums on Fleet. Wasn't a guitar guy.
Oh, okay.
But, drumming wise, I was pretty good. And it got to the point where I watched a lot of YouTube videos and almost bought add-ons for my drum set.
Really?
But I backed off a little.
Whoa, that's hardcore, dude.
Obsessive, because I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was especially you get friends over in Tranken. I mean, that's like the way to go.
Well, I mean, Rock Band came out, and I can tell you, I spent 8 hours the first day it came out. Yeah. It's so easy.
Get your Domino's pizza and you
exactly.
We just had you guys missed that.
That was an inside joke.
Yeah, we had a good conversation about Domino's pizza. So
Domino's.
So I have this is a quintessential party game.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because anybody can play it. It can either be a glorified karaoke game.
Yeah.
Or you get people on a guitar and as long as you have some kind of idea of what a motor skill is, you can kind of do it.
Right.
Even with the drums, and the piano, when the piano came out.
So the piano's not supported in 4.
Uh-oh.
And I should also segue that into on the Xbox One, only wireless devices are supported. The wired devices are not. So your Explorer guitars from Guitar Hero will not work for Rock Band 4.
Okay, but what about the they have a converter thing that you can buy
for wireless, not for wired.
So I've got to invest another $100. Okay, well,
So I mean, the microphone I think still works, but the wired guitars will not work. The wired drum kit will not work. And if you have the ion drums,
I have 3 mics. So does the harmony thing still happen?
Yeah, it does still happen. You have the full band mode.
That's cool. That's always fun, like giving mics to everybody and having everybody sing along.
Right. Cause I don't know, when I'm drumming, I can't really sing and drum simultaneously. I'm not
that's
the
actually,
Eagles.
Well, that's something I do. We used to put. So I'm in a band, as you people probably have heard. I play music and I'm the singer in the band that I'm in, and I play guitar, and not lying, I developed that motor skill to be able to do 2 things at once by playing Rock Band. If that's not sad enough.
Well, see, I never had to sing, so I never had to develop that.
Yeah. So
if you spent a lot of money on the ion drums, those don't work.
Oh, I didn't buy those.
Right. Well, I'm just saying as a whole.
But for you suckers who did, sorry.
sorry.
People.
But hey, you can play on your 360 where you still have your big library right now, so.
Man, see, I'm looking at this 360 that we have sitting right here next to us, and I'm like, man, I might.
I should have bought mine's over because I still have my disc. I think it's in my 360 right now.
We could have a jam session.
Exactly, I'm down.
Well, it's interesting, and guys, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you guys are playing Rock Band 4, if you guys think that we should be, like, if I just need to bite the bullet, like, send me an email. Again, geek30podcast@gmail.com, or at geek30 on Twitter. Love to hear from you.
It's still, I mean, for what I have seen, it is a lot more polished than 360.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is nice. I mean, it's still kind of a shell. The content is what's the issue, and it's not entirely Harmonix's fault. It's a licensing issue.
Right.
But the game itself is very smooth. If you're new to it, it's fantastic. If you've had the libraries before, that's where it becomes kludgy.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the next beer we're drinking. As we mentioned as we were talking about those beers, looking through my notes here, this is the Woodchuck Hard Cider Gumption. And we opened up, we poured it, and it smells wonderful.
Amazing.
And JoJo brought this beer today.
So I also want to point out that the first 2 beers were brought in by Chris. And my brother-in-law, Chris, was the one who bought my ticket to go to this Oktoberfest to try this Gumption. So I do have to put a bit of a Chris into this.
So this episode's all about Chris's.
It's all about Chris's. Because Chris is everywhere.
Yeah, so thank you all the Chris's in the world for all that you do in providing wonderful beverages for us.
Thank you, Chris Mack, also, because
Chris Mack. Yeah, because. So let's do a little cheers to this one.
Cheers.
Let's give this a shot. Oh, that's apple juice.
It's dangerously apple juice.
Yeah, that's so. So earlier today, I was at Renfest up in Maryland. Have you guys ever been to that?
Haven't been, but I've definitely heard of it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's
been 15 years.
It's a blast. You go there, everybody's dressed up, and you everything you can get everything, any food that you want, either on a stick and or fried. And they also serve bee stings and snake bites
and meat
and meat, beer, all these sort of things. So earlier this morning, I'm drinking a lot of cider today.
You've drinking.
Yes. Drinking?
You drank.
Drank. I've drank. Yeah.
You're cut off.
This is what happens when you freaking do a flight of beers in a podcast.
In old me times, we say drinking.
So, yes, ye old drinking.
Ye old drinking.
I had what was it?
Go forth and drinking.
I had a bee sting, which is, if you guys have never had that, it's 3/4 of the drink is hard cider, a quarter of it is mead, and the mead is really cool because it adds something super sweet to it.
Is it a honey mead or?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a honey mead.
Nice.
If you've never had mead, you got to try it. It's something very different.
Definitely.
But then a snake bite is you take beer, half cider. So I've had a lot of cider today, and then all these beers tonight. I'm gonna need to give my body a break.
Where's Chris? We need Chris in here.
Yeah,
one of them.
Get some non-alcoholic something or other in my body. But this is actually really nice. It's sweet. something you'd expect from. But that right there is the word. It's crisp.
Crisp, light, easy to drink, and so there is, I think, 5.5% alcohol in here.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. I had that somewhere, but you don't taste a bit of alcohol. This is basically
Jamal,
juice.
what do you think about this? Because this is basically juice.
It's real smooth. You can't have fall without some type of cider, hard cider to sip on. This is the type of drink that you give to like a new drinker. It's like, I don't taste anything, and next thing you know, like they're hammered. Their shoes on the ceiling fan.
See, this is what it's like to be drunk.
We go on a sidewalk in the wrong part of town.
It was just juice.
You learn really quickly that person's a very aggressive drunk. That's why they've never gotten drunk.
That's right. We all know one.
Yeah. No, glad you like it. Yeah, Jamal's kind of getting into all the different types of beers out there, like you mentioned. So
I would be more than happy to bring him over, not even for a podcast, just to do flights. Introduce all kinds of stuff.
Just let me know when I come back, man.
There we go.
Well, JoJo sent me down in Woodbridge.
We have a new brew pub in Woodbridge.
Yeah,
an ornery. Yeah.
Yep. And that's where Jamal lives. So we'll have to definitely do something.
Definitely.
But next up in the news, as we drink our cider, some dude made his own Thor's hammer. And if you guys haven't seen this on Facebook yet or some kind of social media, you got to check it out. We'll put a video. We'll put a link.
He didn't just make it. He made it well. Like, this is the most brilliant execution of a Thor's hammer I've ever seen.
It's so cool. So, JoJo, why don't you take us through what happened?
So, it's not... The idea behind... Mjolnir? I never know how to pronounce it.
Mjolnir?
Is there a J in there?
There's a J somewhere.
There's a J something.
I just like the way you said it. You kind of slid it under maybe they won't hear the weird this is said.
Mjolnir. Whatever. Meow mix. Whatever Thor's hammer is, cat mix or whatever it is. The idea of it is that only he who is worthy will be able to pick it up. So to Thor, it's light as a feather, but to everybody else, they cannot physically bring it off the ground. And they actually pull this in the Avengers. Not only the movie, they also did it on the animated series and a couple of other places. Where Hulk actually was able to pick it up at one point, because he's the Hulk and he's ridiculous and whatever, but not without breaking the ground because it has such a heft to it. So the idea is that only the person who's worthy can pick it up. So he designed a hammer that has electromagnets on the inside of it and a fingerprint scanner for his thumb. Yeah. So it only recognizes his thumb, and when he puts it on like a sewer drain or anything that's metal or whatever, no one can pick it up because it has such a hard bond until his thumb puts it on there. And it's mind-blowing how easy this is.
Yes.
The idea of it
makes so much sense.
It's brilliant that he thought of it,
Yeah, it's really cool. So you guys can see the video. We'll post it up on the show notes. And he puts it out on the streets, and he walks up to people who's like, hey, that's Thor's hammer. Can you pick it up? And you see these people like trying to pick it up. And he has it on like a sewer grate or like some kind of metal foundation. These people struggling to pick it up, and this one dude was like, "Oh, it's got a magnet. It's got to have a magnet." and so he goes up and he shows him how it works, and he puts it and he grabs it. He puts his thumb on the reader, and I mean, these people are just blown away. They think it's just the coolest thing.
It's literally a scene out of Thor, because if you remember the desert scene in New Mexico where everybody tried to pick up they made a thing about it, like pick up trucks and chains, and they try to pull it out. No one could pick it up except for Thor. And it's the exact same thing that's happening over here, and it's brilliant. I love this.
Yeah, it was a cool story.
Yeah, I wonder what other shenanigans. Like I think this guy has hit some kind of level of viral, and the dude is brilliant. I mean,
he is.
I want to see
thought of that.
I want to see something else come out of this dude, because just that little thing was really.
Can I just segue last show and say we have hoverboards, we have shoes that tie themselves now. We're getting the Pepsi throwbacks from Back to the Future.
Oh right.
The Cubs are in the playoffs. So everything from Back to the Future is happening.
Yeah.
And we have Thor's hammer.
Yes.
What the heck?
It's happening. It's happening, and I love it. I think it's the coolest thing. Well, let's get into, we have Jamal here. I wanted Jamal to be on this show. He was one of the first people I thought when we were getting, lists of guests together of people to line up. I was like, man, I got to get Jamal on this show because, one, I'm a big fan of his podcast. I think it's a brilliant project. And we both share a love of podcasting and brainstorm about different things here and there. And I wanted him to come on not only for a chance for him to tell you guys, our listeners, about his podcast, because I think it's a wonderful project, but also just to kind of share his whole experience of being a dad and finding time to play video games and still enjoy the love of video games and other nerdy things that he's into.
I definitely appreciate the work-life balance there, because obviously you have to work and you have to home life and you still manage video games on the inside of that. And someone who can still podcast on top of that. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And you haven't heard it from me yet, but I love this dude's voice. I am jealous of this dude's voice. I'm going to put that out there.
Jamal's got a radio voice in case you guys haven't heard it.
And a face for radio, not like Ryan or myself, because I know Ryan made that joke. But Jamal actually has a face for video, but he also has this amazing voice. And I'm just...
He can do it all.
Exactly.
Speaking like Bobcat Goldthwait to thanks for having me on, guys. I want to start by saying I have a real strong affinity for podcasting. I got really into it a couple years ago. A friend of mine turned me on to my first podcast I started listening to was the Adam Carolla Show. And from there, I found out that this is such a good, malleable platform for listening to everything you want, any interest. There's a podcast to cater toward it, and it's available at on demand. I think our generation is more receptive to things like podcasting as opposed to editorials or magazines or even articles on websites. So I really I love the fact that it's basically a no cost point of entry to getting your voice out through media to different types of people. And I started my podcast, Your Mark, back in January of this year. I first wanted to do a podcast about any and everything, but I've realized that everybody has a podcast. Like, we're just sitting around talking about everything. So I said, well, what's my next kind of love? And that's being a dad. I have two boys, 5 and 3. Very instrumental part of my life. So I wanted to start talking to dads about any experience they have. So on my podcast so far, I've had dads that have started, parenting in their 40s. I've had guys that have had, foster children. I've had guys that are, single dads. Every different type of walk of life. I wanted to give fathers a platform to talk about, any everything. Male mentors.
It's a great
also.
dynamic, definitely.
And I think that one of the things for me personally, as somebody who eventually wants to be a dad, not right now because you're not pregnant, right, Deanna?
I mean, she's not answering.
All right. I always like to just double check. As somebody who eventually wants to be, and I told Jamal this, I was like, this is a beautiful thing that you're doing, because it gets a very interesting perspective, which is everybody has their own story.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Everybody has their own story of raising their kids, but also how you were being raised affect the way that maybe you're raising your kids. Mm-hmm. And everybody has a very unique situation.
That's right. And over the course of, I talked to guys beforehand, some people I know and some people they've come to me to wanted to participate in the program. Mm-hmm. I never talked to before. And like you said, everybody has a story. Some people said, well, I don't know, my background is pretty traditional. I don't really have anything special about me. Over the course of our discussions, certain things have come out that are, really remarkable. So, again, every different walk of life, and I wanted, like I said, to give guys a forum to talk about any and everything, because I think even the kind of the slight nuance that you have as a dad, somebody else can relate to.
Oh, certainly.
Listening.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was really blown away with some of these stories. I mean, some of it's really sad. Mm-hmm. Some of it is just really real. Yeah. And some of it is just, all of it is inspiring.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, everybody has something very, very different. So where can people find your podcast if they want to hear this?
Sure. So I'm on iTunes and Stitcher. Your Mark, a series about all things fatherhood, is the full title of the podcast. Look us up, like I said, iTunes, Stitcher, your favorite podcast provider, picked up by all the other third-party apps. Also, I'm on Facebook, so you can go to the page on Facebook, same title, Your Mark, series about all things fatherhood. What I do is I promote every show with a picture of the guest and then kind of blurb about the particular episode, so you can look me up there. And feel free to dig in. Also, want to give a plug to a Wizards podcast. I'm a big Washington Wizards fan, long-suffering Wizards fan. I've been around since the days they were winning 23 games a year. 1/4 of a podcast called The Red Line, which I do with a few buddies of mine. We write for a site called Hoop District. We're a credentialed Washington Wizards fan site, so we're legit. Going to be on iTunes pretty soon, so check us out there also.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. These guys are very entertaining. Definitely recommend that you do that, and especially Jamal's personal podcast. Like I say, even if you guys don't have a specific, like if you guys don't have any plans on being parents or whatever your situation is, hearing somebody's story is really inspiring. So I definitely recommend that. And Jamal, what would you say to people out there who may be in the position you're in? You're a dad of two. Tell us about your kids, by the way.
Yeah. So father two boys, Jonathan and Jackson, 5 and 3. Man, never a dull moment.
5 and 3, dude.
5 and 3, 2 boys, a lot of testosterone budding in the house.
Hilarious.
I feel like a real parent now because I moved from daycare to my oldest son being in kindergarten now.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
we started school. School is a different animal altogether. I'm getting emails from the school system. My wife's in the PTA. We're doing soccer. Both kids are playing soccer right now. We had 4 games over the course of the last 2 days.
I feel like just yesterday you were like, it's kind of opposite. Like you're the kid.
Yeah.
I remember emails when I was going to school. When did that change?
Well, that's true. Yeah, fair enough.
My son had a dental appointment. He was late to school that day. Like 8:01, we got an email. Your son's not in school today. And I was
Really?
like,
Wow.
really? What is going on? So totally different from when we went to school.
Yeah, because usually they would just call your parent and be like, hey, he's not here.
But it's fun, the responsibility of raising a child is such a monumental task to take on. You're responsible for shaping someone's life and making sure these guys become responsible, respectable citizens. So, my advice is, if you're thinking about having children, if you're a younger couple or so, do some things that you want to do now. You want to travel, get it done. You want to buy some nice things. Do it now.
It's funny that you say that because on the way up to the Renaissance Fair today, Deanna and I were like, so we got to go like out of town because first of all, we have no freaking weddings next year. Wow. That we know of.
For starters, that's
so
insane.
because
for
this
the first
past
time
year,
ever.
This past year, like in 2015, we had 3,
Yeah,
and we were in
You were
two of them.
Yeah.
And so it was we were blessed to be in, all those weddings and be invited, and it was wonderful. All these people. One was my sister, so obviously it's family, but I have my cousin, and then Ryan, who was on the podcast, and it was wonderful. But now we're like, holy crap, we have a year to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, this is a great time. Let's go out of town. So as we were driving up to Renfest, we were like, we got to figure out some place to go. We were talking about either going to the UK or doing like Italy or Spain or something like that. Because like we want to get that in before we start having any kids.
Yeah.
So it's very we're on that.
That changes entirely once you have kids.
Totally.
Yeah. And you might luck up and have a family member that wants to actually almost be like an au pair for your children. But generally, when you have kids, you all your time and money and effort is dedicated to that. But it's great. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic experience. And it's just a lot of fun.
And, just giving a taste of what Jamal's podcast does. I mean, Jamal, why don't you talk a little bit about your experience, I guess, raising your kids and your dad and all that. Because again, the theme behind his podcast really revolves around the father figure in the relationship. And again, it's a wonderful podcast. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I talked to the kind of backdrop of the episodes are, I talk to guys about their family situation. We open up about their background, but particularly I want to focus on, your relationship with your dad and, whether it be good or bad, explain that and get into that and see and kind of determine how it shaped and molded you. If you didn't have a father figure in your life, maybe there's some male mentor that you kind of learn things from. And, the middle of the episodes are always kind of catered specifically toward what these guys, situations are. But we always close with, what are those things that you live by day to day in your relationship as a dad? What kind of words of wisdom do you impart because of things that you teach your children on a day to day basis? So I really try to kind of bring that out of guys. What kinds of male figures shaped and molded their role as a dad.
Yeah, it's wonderful stuff. So again, your Mark. So you can find him on iTunes. That's where I subscribe to him there. And again, it's a wonderful show. So thanks so much for being on.
Thank you for having me, man.
So much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, with that, let's wrap it up.
I think it's a good time to wrap up.
Cool, dude. So where can people reach us?
So, as always, on geek30podcast@gmail.com. I've just screwed that up completely. Let's start that over again. Okay. Geek30podcast@gmail.com. As we mentioned earlier, 30 is spelled out. Geek30podcast@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 443-424-3350, or even follow us on Twitter at Geek30. And once again, 30 is spelled out.
Yep, and please leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes if you haven't yet. We're trying to get as much visibility on this podcast as possible, so your everything that you guys do really helps. Share it on Facebook, on all forms of social media. 5-star rating on iTunes. Leave us a nice little message on iTunes. That'd be awesome.
And interact with us and let us know what's going on.
Yup, and special thanks to Jamie Sweeland for all the production and the awesome music. Thank you to, Heavy Seas, Sly Fox, and Woodchuck for the awesome beer and the cider. And thank you to you guys, again, for all the awesome support that you guys have given us. I think that's episode 6 in a nutshell. Yeah, we're all done.
I think we're wrapped up.
Yep.
I am going to see you guys later.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.